Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And Bluedragonfive. Over 10 years ago, as the Dark Knight changed things forever, we lost the actor who made it happen. Heath Ledger delivered the ultimate performance that left us eternally wanting more. While we all thought we saw the last of his betrayal as the Clown Prince of Crime, two men unearthed, let's just say, amazing footage of what he might have done next.
The job falls to us to comb over the files and documented exploits of Patient 4479 in this ultimate tribute to the role of a lifetime. Let's start today's session with Therapy Ends. Oh, yeah. All right, Dragon. So correct me if I'm wrong, by all means, but this is the final further evidence, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, yay, we're finally there. Okay. Yeah, Dragon, I got to admit, I'm, seeing the payoff of everything, and I'm a little mixed on this. I'm not going to lie. I like this episode. I don't think I'm quite in love with it. I don't really necessarily think I'm in love with the resolution. Like, I understand what they're doing as far as like the Joker, like the whole further evidence thing was the Joker kind of like recruiting his crew for the breakout. I get that. I don't know. Just there's a couple things about the execution that we'll certainly talk over. I would probably give this like a 7 out of 10, like as far as like just as a standalone episode. It didn't necessarily wow me. And you know what, Dragon? I really hate to do this, and I really hate to throw shade, and she's doing a fine job. There's something about the delivery of this Harley. Like, Dragon, I honestly just think it's her voice. And not even the way that she's delivering it. It's just like, her voice just does not sound like the voice I would give to a Harley Quinn. And maybe it's because of the fact that, like, we're obviously we're in the building phases. Like, this is not Harley Quinn. This is still Harleen Kopski. So, very much not the animated series character. But I don't know, man. I don't really see a lot of cadence in her deliveries. I do think she's good at playing intense. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely a few moments in here that are very, very good. I think this woman is way better at body language acting than she is at line reading. And I want to make it clear, I don't think she's bad at line reading by any means. Like I said, I think it's more so my expectation for what the character should actually like sound like vocally. But I will give her a lot of credit, as I'm sure we'll talk over. Performance-wise, as far as the nonverbal stuff goes, it's pretty damn good. Honestly, if anything, Dragon, I'm curious how you're gonna fall on this, but I personally thought the ending was pretty rushed, and I get what they were trying to do stylistically, but frankly, stylistically, I thought it felt a little sloppy. So, I don't know. I'm not in love with this. I'm just kind of, as with all of these, all I can do is just kind of give you my honest take. And, I'm certainly interested in the series going into the next season and everything, but it was a little bit of an awkward note to end things out on, and I can't quite put my finger on why. But that's my overall take.
Right. So, I guess contextually, kind of fill in some blanks here. So, what we're going to do, folks, is so Tiki, you did watch the voicemail before watching the episode.
I mean, I did. Like, I don't think I literally would have missed anything.
No, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have. I just wanted to give you the viewer's experience in which you would have gotten that and then the episodes.
Okay, got it. I do think it was cool that we see, like, sometimes with these teases, it's very cryptic, and we don't even really see it tie in. And so this was a very cool kind of like, oh, there it is. There's the promo.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of viral marketing kind of promo kind of.
Totally. So yeah, that was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah. So I guess here's what we'll do. I think we'll Well, let's just, for simplicity's sake, we'll cover the voicemail box first to get out of the way. So when it happens in the episode, we just kind of glaze over because we've already talked about that
Okay,
segment of it. But
sure.
regardless, so the voicemail box. So again, this continues the phone theme of further evidence. Of course, Professor Quinzel, Harold Quinzel, Harlene's father, is leaving a message
That's a
for her.
wonderful name for Harlene's father, by the way.
Yep, I like it.
But Dragon.
Yeah.
He was hungry.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, I would have answered your phone calls earlier, but I was hungry.
I ate the egg.
Oh, God.
I ate our baby, and I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But no, so Professor Quinzel is leaving a message that essentially is kind of a dual foreshadow thing, let's say. One foreshadow that is very much in the episode, the other foreshadow, you'll just have to wait and see.
Ooh, did something bad happen to Papa Quinn?
Not necessarily, but let's just say he's, there's definitely some big old foreshadow there.
Okay.
So, basically the idea is like when this is marketed is like, okay, the next episode is building to most likely Harleen is kind of the focus. Again, every episode of Further Evidence is kind of focused on a supporting character and not the Joker, outside of like the stylistic kind of like adjustment of the Meet Steve episode, with the
Right.
He can't because he's dead, in which we saw how Joker pulled certain strings, and we saw we deviated from the found footage for the first time.
Right.
So, then of course, when we get to Therapy Begins is really interesting. It has some interesting backstory. One thing I'm interested that you did not pick up on. At least it seems you didn't pick up on. Maybe you're playing close to the vest. I don't give you that much credit on that, but we'll see what happens. So,
you shouldn't give me that much credit on most things, Dragon. You know this.
So we had a big reveal this episode. Honestly, Tiki, the main reason for this further evidence, aside from just like, hey, let's remind ourselves of who our co-star is and all this, is there was a major recasting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it Joker?
Well, no, not that.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure because he was out of the makeup, so I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
So,
was it Harley?
Well, yes, Tiki. Those are the only yes.
Okay.
I was building to it.
That's really interesting, though. Now that you say that, I don't know, Dragon. I honestly think that now that you say that, I really think with the performance hang up that I'm having, it's clearly not the actress involved, right? Because I've had this same sort of hang up with the voice for two different actresses now. And I'm sorry, it's just been a while since we've seen her, and obviously we didn't see a ton of her to begin with.
Plus, I'm about to get all taken on you here.
What?
I'm about to get all Liam Neeson taken on you here. I'm about to do the whole, we spoke on the phone a few days ago right now.
Oh, God.
Tiki.
Yeah?
This is not the first time you've seen her.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
So the original actress was Kira Westberg, who basically, I can't really say why she didn't return. I believe what happened is like she doesn't really have any acting credits to her name, and she does have a new last name. So my presumption is she probably retired and got married, which is ironic given what the first season's all about. Now,
she saw the end of the first season. She saw that she was getting married. She's like, this is kind of a bad omen. Maybe I should just step away from this.
Well, whatever happened, she was in the promo for season 2, if you recall. So everyone, I think, was expecting her to come back because remember she's in like the whole I started a joke song, which the Suicide Squad then ran with.
Right.
Now she's recast with Kendra Cashmore. Now, Kendra Cashmore, for a very brief but memorable role in the first season. Tiki, care to guess who it is?
Oh, God, I'm trying to think of...
Where have you seen that face before?
No, honestly, I feel dumb because I'm even trying to think of female characters that we met, and I'm trying... Did we meet Tompkins? Is it Tompkins? I don't know.
No, Leslie Tompkins is an old woman, Tiki, who we saw in the previous further evidence. No.
Right. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, Dragon.
Lisa Arkham, Dr. Arkham's wife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Remember, it was very impressive. So much so, it's like, well, we need an actor.
That's true. That's actually very true. Yeah, you're right. Mm.
So the logic, I don't want to give too much away here. Let's just say, because remember, so far in further evidence, and I didn't plant a flag here, we did not see Lisa Arkham in that scene when she's in the hospital bed. So the idea is she's bandaged up and unseen for the majority. So, if we're not going to see her, let's put her to use elsewhere.
Yeah, and so what I was saying with the with my critique of the voice dragon, I really think I'm at this point I can comfortably say I am critiquing the voice direction on this character and not so much any sort of performance. Just because I really feel like the delivery of this Harley, like I understand that you don't want to go full Arlene Sorkin, but I don't know. I feel like the voice needs some sort of spice, some sort of flavor to it. And I'm not really getting a lot.
Well, I would make the argument that again, as you're well aware, what Arlene Sorkin did really well. Mad Love, obviously, Dr. Harleen Quinzel, a lot more put together, and you already know that. But here's what I'm gonna insert those: the fact that I think we went an interesting way with it here because this whole episode is about her doubling down on being Harleen Quinzel, or more so Harleen Kopski.
Yes.
And so she's doubling down on kind of the well put together, Harleen
That's
Quinzel,
true.
Arlene
That's true.
Sorkin performance. And what I like though, and here's the added layer you get from Kendra Cashmore, which a lot of people, it's unclear who, again, much like another Joker Harley series that we talk about,
I know,
there
right?
was there was also a Harley recasting,
Yeah,
and
weird how
I
that
think,
works.
and both are good. I mean, you'll see more of her, so you can make your own judgment. Maybe she grows on you or not. I mean, which Harleen you prefer? I don't know. But yeah, I really I like that in the performance. The crazy is kind of it's on the body language.
Totally, totally. And like I said, I think this actress, the best thing she has going for her is in the body language from what I've seen. So I definitely give her credit then
Yeah,
for
you
that.
see her like so. The idea is like there's something we kind of saw this a little bit in what Kira Westberg was presumably going to explore in a season 2, where we saw her during the staff verification. We saw like there's something a little cracked there. Some little haunted and cracked there. She's piecing together. She's putting on a brave face. And this lady, though, Cashmore, you can see like there's something like physically going on there. She is like she's barely holding it together. And we saw that in that elevator scene, which we'll get to. Like she's coming apart at the seams, which is very interesting. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, this is kind of the prelude. This is the end of our prelude, the build up, with the cast and our story threads that are then going to be woven into a very interesting tapestry for season 2. Okay, so all that said, let's start briefly with the voicemail box. Not a lot there. Just Dr. Harold Quinzel. He's leaving a message for his daughter. He says it's been weeks since he's heard from her. Now we are chronologically, I believe we are 6 months since the first season. That's roughly where we take place here.
Uh-huh. So I think one of the clever things with this being a teaser dragon, and I'm pretty sure you're supposed to take away from this, at least in the real time of it all, is that you hear this voicemail and you hear that it's been weeks and you're like, oh God, did something happen to her? When in the actual episode, you kind of find out it's less something happened to her and more she's kind of like just putting on a mask. I imagine that speaking with her family would bring back memories of the trauma that she doesn't want to deal with. At least that's my headcanon
I mean, her
for it.
father got cold cocked by the Joker shotgun.
Exactly, right. So yeah, I do think that it's interesting that they kind of like subverted expectations, where they could have just gone the easy route and just had the season like start with her being kidnapped by the Joker or something, but they didn't. So kudos there.
Right. So, so the big here's kind of the foreshadow. Here's kind of the foreshadow here. Of course, we see this in the episode. He says, "You're strong. It's time that you face your fears and essentially move forward." Which, of course, she ultimately will do when after she listens to this message, she kind of works up the gumption. She faces her demon, but we'll get there. And again, it's a little kind of thematic flag for something else that's going to happen once the season gets going. Okay, that brings us to our main feature presentation here. Therapy ends.
Okay, so yeah, great opening montage. Again, a lot of good body language here. We start with a dream scene with Mr. Koski himself that we know is dead. So we know this is not going to end well unless it's Sandman, in which case it will still end badly, just over a period of time.
Yeah, it's got to plant this flag here as well. Just again, Kopski, not Koski's our commenter. Tiki Kopski is
oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It is a very similar name. You're right. I'm sorry.
It was the first. Honestly, when I saw Koski,
that's funny.
When I saw Koski Productions, the very first thing I thought of obviously was Guy Kopski.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of hoping.
Well, it's just Kop and Ski, right?
Yeah, Kopski. Yeah, it's
okay,
Kop with a K, Ski. That's it.
Okay, got it.
Point being, so I love the way we.
That is funny how Koski Productions is so similar.
I love the way we shoot this because we shoot it kind of like a Nolan Inception thing where we're in kind of like a dream setting, which is really interesting. It's kind of the cinematography and the editing is very kind of like almost an aside with Maul from Inception.
Totally.
So so Harleen wakes up. Essentially, my read on this scene was always that Harleen wakes up in on her honeymoon as if nothing bad happened at the wedding, and she is in probably a hotel on their honeymoon overlooking Metropolis, which they ended up, basically on their way to move to, or they're in their fancy place in Metropolis, having moved in during the honeymoon, and Guy is there as like, hello, Mrs. Kopski, he's being all husbandy.
Oh, I forgot his name was literally Guy.
Yep, well, that's definitely a guy's name. Couldn't pull the Lyle trick on him.
Oh my god.
So then, of course, they're having kind of a nice lovey-dovey moment here, which then, of course, you see again we're hitting our shots really nicely. We see the wedding ring, and again hand on the kind of the abdomen. And then we go from dream to the nightmarish reality seeping in. We see blood on. Seemingly, she's wearing sheets, but also those sheets looks like a wedding dress.
Indeed, a little bit.
Then we have the very haunting. I think Joker is so haunting in this episode with his lines and like the monologues that we give him here, and of course it's this little intercut of like, "I love you." Just very creepy is the way that's intercut. And she wakes up, and I love this. I never caught this detail before, I must admit. She wakes up. Tiggy, did you catch what time she wakes up?
7:49.
Yep, I mean, I know it's missing a number, but
it is missing one number, yes, but
I'm just saying, 4479.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she gets ready for a day, and it's cold out with a storm coming. A little classic Nolanism there for you.
Storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
Right.
Wait, Alfred didn't say that line. I don't know why I thought Alfred said that line. I'm sorry. That was a bad quote. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
for some reason, I was like, wait.
Commissioner Gordon and Selena Kyle say storm's coming.
Right. Okay. Oh, Master Bruce, looks like we'll be needing an umbrella today. It looks like there's a wee bit of a storm coming on. All right, sorry.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's off to the side. Someone say umbrella.
Oh my god.
Mr. Wayne, I have an umbrella for you. I think we should talk.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. If only, dude. If only.
I know. Again, Joker blogs did give us the closest we're ever going to get to that, so that's something to be thankful for.
Sure.
All right, so here's something I really like. There's a great detail with our new Harleen here. If you notice, in the transition to her slowly but surely becoming Harley Quinn, her wardrobe, she's wearing black and white and red diamond patterns.
I did notice that. I definitely caught on to the black and white thing with the hint of red for sure.
And who's texting her on her phone about breakfast? It ain't Walter Jr. Who is it?
I don't know. Who is it, Dragon? I honestly missed it. I'm sorry.
Ivy's calling her about this.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So also there are like two Harley and Ivy references in this. You have us Ivy and period just contacting her. You see Harleen's been really distracted. She probably missed her breakfast plans with Ivy. Mm-hmm. She's doing some therapy here, and also look at how nice Arkham Asylum is under the LexCorp sponsorship. It's a really nice looking place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's taking a bit of a shine.
Also, it's the first time we've actually seen Arkham outside of the basement that they used and called the therapy room. So this is the first time
That's true.
Also, when he escaped, that was like a college campus. The first time we were actual. Because again, we're going on location this time around now.
But she's just not doing well, Dragon. She is like barely keeping it together over the smallest little things.
And you know what's not helping? A guy talking about how he lost his spouse.
I know, right?
Yeah, but it does speak. This guy seemingly, committed himself versus being a super criminal. So again, progress on Arkham for a change.
Exactly.
So he still feels empty. Bum bum. Now here's a deep cut reference to Batman the Animated Series. So she's at lunch and she has a salad, and the salad again, it's not one for one because clearly Heath Ledger Joker does not look like the Mark Hamill Joker. But Harley and Ivy, Harley Quinn, she's like eating her a salad that Poison Ivy made her, and she's hallucinating that it's the Joker's face. So we have the salad with
Oh
the
God.
smile, the kind of vague Joker face in
Uh-huh.
the salad. But then we have the direct callback to our show here, where she pushes the plastic fork away, remembering how she gave Joker a real fork and he used that to escape, and subconsciously, maybe that was her way of foiling her own wedding and her own happiness and killing everybody.
Dragon, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I saw the salad, all I could think of was Owen Wilson.
Really?
Yes, still.
All right.
Oh no, not the salad, Loki. No, no, it's not a metaphor, Loki. It's a salad. It's my lunch.
And of course, Loki's going to ride on a jet ski heroically, and he's going to be like, "Oh, that was my moment.
Oh my God.
He stole my fantasy."
Oh jeez. All right.
Anyway,
So
so
Pearl just plops some files down,
plop.
and Pearl.
And trauma.
Now I gotta tell you, man. Harley is not looking good, but Pearl, like, we don't know. We don't know what's going on with her. On surface glance, it seems like she's doing okay based on all the trauma she's been through.
Yeah, no. To be fair, none of her loved ones died, so she's relatively in good shape. A little
Right,
traumatized, but
right.
she's
I'm just
she's
saying
in
that
there.
it's good that she's like still working and everything. It's good that the experience didn't traumatize her to the point of not being able to work.
I mean, he did almost cut her face up, so it was rather.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Also, fun detail. Did you notice what's hanging on her wall?
Can't say that I did.
Little
No.
Harley Quinn mask.
Oh, clever,
Yeah.
clever.
Anyways, of course, she's ducking her father's call. She's kind of zoned out, and then Pearl literally drops by and drops some big old files on her desk and reminds her, now taking big old plot points you probably guessed by the end of this episode. Board meeting, the big board meetings today in an hour.
Dragon, there's a certain board meeting that I have become obsessed with over the past week. I think you know what I'm referring to, but yes, big board meeting.
Yes, big. Again, it's also the classic comic book trope in comic movies all the time. You always have a board scene, but we've actually centered our plot here around though it's not just like a casualty. We throw a board scene in every comic book movie.
You
We
know
know
which
it's an
series
actually
has the
important
most intimidating boardroom scenes? And it's like when you're in a boardroom, you just know that shit is going to go down.
What series?
Breaking Bad.
True.
Because it's like anytime you're in any sort of like official meeting, it's like, oh no, this is not going to end well.
Yep, Gus Fring's bringing out the Spice Girls. Something's gonna
Right,
happen.
right.
Invite you to try Spice Girls.
Oh my God. Dude, I
Anyway,
seriously, there needs to be an El Polo Hermanos at like Universal or something. It's too synergistic to not be in a theme park.
that's true. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm just surprised at this point that the restaurant they actually shoot in, Twisters, hasn't just rebranded and just cashed in, literally calling it Toys R Us.
right.
I mean, I
Yeah,
imagine Columbia, Sony would probably have like a whole, might have like they tried nickel and dime it, so maybe that's why they haven't. But I don't know.
probably. Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. I imagine there's got to have been at least a couple pop up ones at some point, right?
I mean,
There's
surely if
got to
movies, only movies can do a pop. But then again, Kevin Smith owns movies, so I don't know.
right.
Anyway, so point
Stranger
being,
Things did a ton of pop ups with stuff like the ice cream parlor and stuff.
that's the
like
thing
that.
because Netflix is cool though.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, so let's see. So LexCorp. Okay, so we Pearl exposits that LexCorp called specifically at this meeting, expecting the full report on patient 4479, how he's progressing and everything. Which is basically Lex wants to know what if the Joker is planning anything unseemly.
Mm-hmm.
So again, she listens to her father's message, which we kind of already went through. We see some pictures of her father on her desk, and also this is a real fun one. So she has a photo on her desk of Guy, and you'll notice it is ripped.
Yeah.
Now it's ripped for two reasons. is ripped because in the post credit scene of season 1, Joker ripped that photo and he put the Harleen half in his cell and drew like a little
Oh God.
crayon picture of of the Joker face, like me, all Jokerized and everything next to her. And the second reason is we probably didn't prepare that photo because we don't want to put. Well, I mean, honestly, probably just could have restaged the photo. I was thinking, like, also the fact that we don't have a different Harley actress, but mainly it's the
That's
first
true.
reason.
That's
The fact that
true.
Joker has it in his cell. At least he had it in his cell, regardless. So, point being, she works up to gumption and she faces her demon. I love how we bring in the Hans Zimmer score, and I
Mhm.
love her cinematography. She's walking down, going all the way to level
The
2
series has
max.
always like consistently been very smart about where to use that score.
They use it really subtly. I don't know if you heard all the subtle
Uh-huh.
places they used it here too. Like they use specifically the boat scene score.
Right, yeah.
So so she goes down to maximum security, which again using more locations than we had previously. We're exploring the full and again I think we're shooting things rather smartly because even if we can't show like a big massive kind of maximum security thing, we use darkness as our friend. You think the shadows are your allies?
Right.
Essentially. So here we get
Well, at
introduced to
least
one.
it's not Vengeance Dragon because that's Pattinson's territory.
Oh yeah, he's got a monopoly on that. So let's talk about. Here's one of my new favorite additions for season 2. We have the new guard characters, particularly our lead guard here. I love the lead guard. This guy, he feels so real and grounded. Probably helps that he's not a college student, at least from the looks of
I
it.
got the same vibe from him that it does help that he's not a college student for sure.
Yeah, at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, that's kind of the sad truth, but still.
I got the same sort of like realistic vibe to him that I did from the mall cops from uh oh what's the name of the dog? The Better Call Saul episode.
Wait, the dog?
Yeah, what's the name? It's the
Oh,
name of the
Nippy,
episode.
Nippy,
Nippy. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
Nippy from season 6 of Better Calls. Yeah,
Yeah, it reminds me of those kind of mall cops, like
yeah.
just as far as like how realistic they are.
I think there's a grounded aspect. Like these guys, I mean, they feel honestly. The thing I geeked out about every time I see these guys is like, oh man, they feel like they're pulled from an actual Batman comic. This is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
At least this lead guy is. This lead guy looks like he'd be a henchman in the Arkham games.
Totally.
So yeah, and point being, we have our kind of our lead guard here, and then we kind of reestablish. And we showed this visually on her desk. Again, she's going by Kopski now, not Quinzel, and basically this is her way of avoiding the fact that the Joker won. This is her like doubling down the whole like, no, the wedding did happen. We said our I do's.
Mm-hmm.
It counts. Even though, well, technically Joker did interrupt during the whole thing, would have an objection, so he entered during the
That's
final.
true. That's true.
The point being, this episode does have, and I think that's why absolutely we use some of our Hans Zimmer music outside the obvious that clears the show that is the aftermath of the Dark Knight. This episode does parallel the Dark Knight in many ways, which I think is really, really good. And basically, how the Joker cannot win, sort of thing, as in like we cannot let him win, so we're gonna like dig our heels in to make sure, even in the smallest ways we can, like we can't let the victory, we can't let the terrorists win, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned that. I like how we kind of peeled the layers back here. So essentially, like she's here. It's 4:30. It's patient therapy time, but she never comes herself. In 6 months, she's never been down here once, which implies, wait a minute, how can she do patient therapy if she's not down there?
Ooh.
So so again, we learned that the guards have been beating the crap out of the Joker 4:30 during all these session times. I love that
He would have
Harleen.
never signed off on it, but
No,
you have to wonder how much does she actually disapprove?
I like to think she's upset at the corruption that is being done on her watch, and for later reasons later, again, it's something that's out of her control, but by the same token, it is in her favor. It's like she's not upset at the action, just the fact that it's happening.
Right. I hear you.
So then we have a great little
Like she could
sequence.
care less about it happening to the Joker, obviously, as we're
Yeah.
about to find out.
However, again, subconsciously though, there is a question though, and how she performs when she walks in always fascinates me. We'll get that in a millisecond. So I love the sequence of our security measures here. Is like she's being searched and everything. We're being reminded, and also as the Joker's being made presentable after his beating. Stay away. She breaks all of these rules, by the way, and I love that. 3 feet away, no personal information, no physical contact, and whatever he does, do not let him convince you to release him, which has happened to other guards before, which is great.
Mhm.
So when she walks in, man, we walk into this dark room where the only light source is on the Joker, like bag over his head, standing up on like a Hannibal Lecter dolly.
Oh yeah.
And when Kendra Cashmore, when she walks in, the emotion on her face, this is when I kind of lean towards the direction. I think I like Kendra more because of moments like this, where you just see the horror and the concern on her face to a degree of like, on some level, it's like, this is horrific. I'm sanctioning this. And some level, it's like, it's the therapist that cared about him and her patient, but still, obviously a lot of animosity towards him, and it makes you question everything that comes after this. How much of that's a front versus how much that's the inner madness that he let out being
And
tempered.
honestly, Dragon, I've got to be honest with you. At this point in the series, I don't really know how full Harley Quinn we're going to get with her. It
Yeah,
is kind of a mystery.
it
So,
is.
so I am kind of vibing with that. Like, I really don't. I don't even know if she's going to like succumb to him or if she might like crack in another way. Or I like that. I like the not knowing.
Absolutely, and again, I like it. She's playing cards really close to her chest here with the Joker. But again, the physical acting does kind of, it makes you wonder. It does make you wonder, like just seeing the emotion, the swell of emotions on her face. That's what I think is really good about what we're doing here. It makes it very ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so of course she kind of looks like, again, you're really rooting for her, aren't you, in this whole scene?
Yeah, yeah.
So she kind of walks in there, and she kind of, for a moment, looks like she might have lost her nerve, and then you hear basically our shot right here. Hello, Harleen. Of course, bringing a full circle to what inspired the Joker-Harley relationship in the first place, Silence of the Lambs. Quite nice. Of course, it's Dr. Kopski. You really got to pick a name and stick with it.
Or isn't there a Mandela effect with that, by the way?
What do you mean?
Like, doesn't he technically say something else?
Oh, yeah, it is a Mandela. Well, I hate using that term, but yes, it is. Essentially, it is a misnomer, yes.
Don't people think he says hello, Clarice, when he
Yeah.
actually says good evening, Clarice?
No. What happens, Tiki, is that he says, good morning.
Right, right.
He's standing in the cell and he says, good morning. He doesn't say, hello, Clarice.
Yeah, that's so weird to me. It's like, it's obviously not like to me, the whole like the fruit of the loom thing is a bigger Mandela effect, but that is a weird like collective misquote though.
Fruit of the loom? What are you talking about?
The fact that fruit of the loom, the logo has never had a cornucopia on it ever.
Wait, really? Wait, is it just grapes or is it a cornucopia?
Yes, it's just grapes.
Huh.
Think of it, Dragon. You know that logo should have a fucking cornucopia there.
It's the weirdest thing you've ever brought up, Tiki.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, as far as like, that's an actual Mandela effect that still to this day fucks with me.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, of course, Joker here is he's saying, I just got used to calling you Dr. Quinzel. Why do you think I killed him? So he's just instantly.
I love how it's like he acts like this is probably my favorite element of this is he acts in this moment like he is still completely in control, like he is essentially her therapist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then
still trying to help her, but in this case, it's kind of the vengeful red dragon.
But then the rest of the episode, for the most part, until the last couple of minutes, she pretty much turns the tables on him.
Oh yeah, and again, this episode is very cyclical with the series to a degree, in which you have therapy. Therapy begins, well, the whole Batman Begins pun there. To therapy begins to therapy ends. So in that regard, we are very much closing the book on the status quo of Harley and the Joker.
I'm still really glad Nolan didn't just call the last film Batman Ends. A lot of people wanted him to for some reason.
Well, I think probably the best case scenario for that would have been Night's End or something.
Or Nightfall or something like that.
Well, Nightfall, obviously. That one would
yeah.
Anyway, point being,
I still would have been partial to the Caped Crusader myself.
Yeah, I think we all were hoping for Caped Crusader, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Like this, she removes the bag, and then we reveal. I did tease you up on this. So she removes the bag, and we see Joker for the first time in the show without makeup. But what we do instead is, while we want to show him fully. It's not so much that we show him without makeup, but we show him without the white makeup on, but we show him battered and bruised and covered in just kind of gnarly like bruises and blood and stuff. And he's just
And his
beating
hair
that
is
guy.
also a
Yeah.
factor. His hair is just totally Dragon, I got to admit, this is absolutely not the show's fault whatsoever. But seeing this actor without the makeup and the hair and everything, it definitely gave me an eerie vibe to the Aurora, Colorado shooter.
Huh.
Like I said, there's literally nothing the show can do, because obviously the show was like made before that even was a thing. But yeah, I don't know, just like a real Joker without his makeup, but still kind of like crazy haired and everything. It gave me pause. It gave me pause. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of like a weird like art imitating life for a minute.
I mean, Tiki, I gotta be honest, man. I really hate when everyone goes on about the Colorado guys being like a fill-in for the Joker, because yes, he called himself that, but the hair was all wrong and everything. It's just a really.
What now? Are you gonna criticize the dude's cosplay choices?
No, I'm criticizing the fact
hair was wrong.
No, I'm criticizing people. Like, what I'm saying is, it's so problematic that people are trying to draw parallels, and it's like, guys, it's sending the wrong message if we're saying life is imitating the kind of the non-violent art. We're saying like, oh no, he's absolutely imitating the Joker, and no, he's not. He just
Dragon. I hate to break it to you, buddy, but the dude was pretty obsessed with the Joker.
I still think that.
Dragon, I've looked into that case quite a lot.
I'm saying I think we're giving him too much of his due anyway. The guy did
that I won't argue with, but
that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't be giving him too much thought into like the motivations and everything. Just a bad guy who did something terrible. But anyway,
yeah.
Regardless, just point being, looking at the Joker here does kind of elicit a kind of a shocking kind of visual, much like we saw in that one scene in The Dark Knight in which the Joker did not have his makeup on.
It's not even a scene. It's just the single shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a single shot, so we have here a prolonged scene. It's rather terrifying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've missed you. So again, this is where the Joker.
I am one of those people who combed through production photos of Joker without his makeup. So this kind of look does kind of fascinate me.
But I love the middle ground here, where again it's kind of like a way like we have to see him without the makeup, without necessarily seeing him without the makeup. But always like the right call, seeing like so is battered and bruised from these constant beatings.
You basically, in a weird way, you do see the man behind the madness, and it is not a pretty picture.
Oh yeah. So of course, she instantly tries to cut the legs out from under the Joker here, which is of course going to be unsuccessful. She's like, "Listen, don't talk." And just lays out. Basically, she's gloating over the powers. Basically, she's trying to reassert dominance over him. Basically, no, I'm the therapist. I'm the doctor. I'm in charge here, not you.
I am the weird one. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, like asserting that he didn't win very much. Again, kind of like the very much like the whole the whole Harvey Dent lie of it all to a degree.
Uh-huh.
So basically, saying that she's basically. She's fabricated paperwork and everything for their therapy, saying that they've been doing therapy twice a week, and he's been making progress. There have been no incidents in 6 months while he's been in maximum security. And of course, Joker interjects with, "Well, that's because I haven't tried to leave." Great. Essentially, she's finding a way to keep him prisoner under her thumb completely hereby, and basically she's forged like the name of 2 doctors. And I love she's kind of playing into the corruption of Gotham here, which is also really cool. She's forged the name of 2 doctors compared to where she started on things. To have you not sent to Blackgate, which is what Joker wanted from the very beginning on the first season. So it's like, hey, I'm going to give you what you want, but I'm going to make sure you have no fun in here.
And you know what? That Bluebell ice cream? Forget about it.
Yeah, no mint chip for you, Clowny. No mint chip for the clown. No Bluebell for you.
You know what's funny, Dragon? It is Bluebell that Saul did cite, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the same company that does that glorious ice cream truck ice cream bars that we always rave about.
Right.
Oh, no, it's not. That company would be Blue Bunny, not Bluebell. My bad.
Right. Anyway, which one does the gumballs? Is that
that's Blue Bunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the fact is, like, she's let's see, so And so she forged all the stuff just to basically keep him here, and she has a board meeting in 1 hour to report in on his progress. And he says, like, so you need me to corroborate your story? And she's like, no one's coming to talk to you. She kind of scoffs at. And then Joker's like turning it back in on the personal here. Well, no one except for you, and you never said it. Dr. Kopski overseeing patient 4479. Then she is really just brings it on home here. I love this. I love this meta call out for the season, for the show right now. She says, like, do you see a camera in here? Oh, there's always someone watching. Like those 3 pigs that broke in, that break in here and break into my cell and beat the hell out of me. Of course, she's going to misplace security footage and give them all raises, which is just so entertaining to the Joker. Just seeing like he is starting to influence
No,
her.
that is absolutely, like, to him. She definitely doesn't realize it yet, but that is her playing into his game for sure.
I'm rubbing off on you. Want to play
Right.
doctor?
Exactly.
That's such a great Joker. just plays really well. So this is the thing. Then she makes her big plea, or just like, well, makes her big declare, saying like, no more therapy. The episode name, therapy ends. No more therapy. Basically saying status quo, completely gone. There is essentially builds to there is no fixing you. And this is where I think Cashmere's really killing it, man. Like there is no fixing.
Is this where we get the tear?
I believe so. Well, yeah, the tears. Yeah, I think the tears there, and then we have it in the elevator too. So I forget if it's like if it's only there, if it's kind of built. We see kind of wetness in her eyes here at the very least. So it's building. It's like there's nothing. There's no fixing you. Just this room. And again, this is actually a fun fact. This is kind of inspired by the I forget if it's Dr. Arkham or Dr. Arkham's ancestor. I think Amadeus Arkham specifically. This is inspired by if anyone's ever played the Arkham game, they kind of regale you with this with Tom Kane doing the voice. Amadeus Arkham, who I believe is the original founder of Arkham Asylum, way back in the old Victorian days. The way the story goes, the foundation of Arkham Asylum is there was a killer named Mad Dog who killed Arkham's wife and or his family.
Biff Mad Dog Tannen.
I know it's the first that we all.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
But essentially, I think it was like Mad Dog something. They had this killer who basically Amadeus Arkham's revenge is basically putting this killer in therapy that killed his family or someone really close to him, and basically doing something like this to them, basically making sure they never get out. It's like it's a nonstop torture.
For sure.
I believe it's like a deep cut pull of Amadeus Arkham, if I'm right. At the very least, it's pulled from the Arkham game, and then kind of that bonus feature of that game. So that's really cool. Anyway, assume I'm recalling that correctly, which I believe I am. I'm just blanking on the full name of Mad Dog there. So, let's see. So we're now. Then Joker really kind of really digs in here, where he says, "Are you about to tell me you like me just the way I am?"
Oh my god!
Basically, he's coining Mr. Rogers to her practically, and then she slaps him. And again, he's spinning this so darn well here. Just the power struggle here. She slaps him, and he says like, are you not going to thank me? And this, I think, is just the most cutting dialogue that he gets here. Just the whole, but he points out like how he's just really manipulated her to a degree here. It's like, I got you your new job. You think you earned this? You're too young.
I mean, as fucked up as it is, he is kind of spitting some truth here.
I mean, that's the terrifying thing about the Joker. I mean, the two things about the Joker, the sign of great Joker writing, is one, he makes you laugh so much that you hate yourself for laughing. And secondly, it's that he has a point. Is that usually he's
right.
Joker,
right, exactly. If he was just spitting bullshit, it wouldn't be nearly as effective.
The Joker doesn't necessarily, at the very least, he doesn't lie in the conventional sense. He lies with like a myriad of truth, and then like the lie just being the presentation occasionally. He's like more of a trick than a lie. Again, the age-old trickster archetype.
It's almost like the whole lie by way of omission, but on steroids.
Pretty much. So here he's absolutely right about everything he's saying, sadly, and it's a depressing thing he's laying out here. Like, let's face it, you're too young, and let's face it,
and you're a woman.
Yep. And he says you're not. And basically, says that let's face it, the board, it's what's left of Gotham's mob, and they're paying these guards. And this is the best line I think of the whole thing. They're paying those guards to keep me underfed and brutalized.
Mm-hmm.
They're still scared of me and needed someone to control, like you.
Again, I very much take that as a like me callback.
Pretty much, yeah. So, so basically, of course, she says, like, think I can stand up to them. Like, think I can do that. It's just like those heels. So this is like Joker 101. He kind of did this to Batman. Joker doing this to pretty much all the figures he comes across. Where Joker's MO, per his namesake, is that it's him calling out to the other person that your life and everything about you is a joke. Is it your life's philosophy? Like, Batman's no kill rule. It's a
He's
joke.
not big on hypocrisy, Dragon.
Oh, of course not. Not exactly the skill he excelled at in clown college. So then, Harleen kind of cops to here of like, you may be responsible for what happened to Jeremiah Arkham and our new owner. And this is great here. She really does this really does put Joker's ultimate plan here for season 2 into effect. Let's say, at least puts it in perspective, roughly. I won't say the specifics of said plan, but she does make a good point here. It does make you think. Your backup plan, you better have a backup plan because this new owner, he's not running out of money anytime soon. It makes you wonder. Joker made a deal with Lex to basically be
He's talking about Disney. I'm sorry. Yeah, that other guy might have been fucked up, but we got a new guy who's actually our old guy.
Okay. The point, if I can get us back on track here.
Yes,
no, but seriously, that's a really good idea, though. This kind of really put in perspective for me on the rewatch that, yeah, Joker really did have like a massive plan when you think about it in regards to Lex. Is a way of getting him what he wants, but Lex also presents another problem that Joker obviously has kind of like a countermeasure in place for right now. It's just the fact that Lex was a stepping stone to ultimately get something. So the fact is, he knew like Lex would never let him out again. He would basically getting Lex Luthor in there would secure him in Arkham, but also would double down security, so it would be almost impossible for him to escape, and Lex would try to bury.
Almost.
Yep, almost. And Lex would try to bury him essentially, and like what is going on right now, and Harleen would obviously be amenable to that. So again, it's and also at this point we're putting in the boat scene score, from the which is great. Basically, the whole like you're alone. That whole Batman's getting under Joker's skin when we do like that. We sustain the note for a while. But I love here where she's like smiling, of course, with kind of like, the whole laughter kind of smiling gimmick with Joker to an extent here. And she's, all I have to do is smile and tell people that we're making progress to keep you down here, which again's the Dark Knight lie right there. Joker didn't win. Like, I'm just going to lie and say that we're doing great. And you're going to die down here.
I wonder how Joker feels about the lie with Gordon, by the way.
That is a good question, but again, that's the thing. Right now, we have not. He's been preoccupied with stuff. At this point, we've never really seen his reaction to any of that yet, because he hasn't been outside long enough to really, kind of get a beat on that.
True.
Yeah. So let's see. So of course, Joker's response to this is, we've all got to die someplace. Does that mean I get visitation rights?
I like how she's basically just like, fuck it, sure, why not?
But again, it's again, this is the twisted element of the performance that's coming out, the inner Harley Quinn that's coming out right now. Like
totally,
her laughing at the absurdity, and like the Joker would in this moment. Like, fine, sure,
and of course in the back of your mind, I'm like, oh boy, is she going to be coming for some conjugal visits soon enough? Ooh, boy.
God. So let's see. So enjoy your board meeting. Now this is great. I won't say what, but let's just say Joker knows what. This implies to me that Joker knows what's going to happen in season 2 already with this line. So this is just really fun that he's already kind of approximated what's going to happen. So when he says enjoy your board meetings, like, oh, enjoy all the chaos that's about to happen. That you're in over your head with. And then she walks out of there and she's like, oh, I'm never coming down here again to the guard. But the guard informs her of something, Tiki.
Yeah. He's got another visitor.
A Mr. Theodore Bear.
Which I'm sorry, Dragon. Should I know who that is?
Yes, you should.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry, I don't.
I'll admit the bear thing is just more of a surname, but it's Ted the Bum.
Oh, okay, got it. That makes sense. Sense.
I'll admit the bear thing's probably not his last name, but who knows?
That's what threw me off. Yeah.
But again, look, I'll admit it's kind of a giveaway, but I'm kind of giving away to you there. But still, though, I mean, Ted, that is essentially the only Theodore that you know. The guy introduced
No,
himself.
you're right. I should have picked up on it. But anyways, we do get this really cool. Okay, Dragon. Here's where I'm just a little bit mixed
I'm
on
really
the.
surprised you didn't like this, by the way. This part of it.
I'm a little bit mixed on the editing. I'm a little bit mixed on the cutting back and forth. I think stylistically it works. I just like. I don't know. I wish everything would have been spelled out just a little bit more than it was.
I gotta be honest, Tiki. I think a rewatch would really behoove you on this scene.
That'll probably be the case, and I imagine that this is also going to be a big episode to rewatch just on the grand spectrum of the series as a whole.
I gotta tell you, rewatching this part, I caught a lot of things I never caught before. That really fascinated me.
I honestly, Drake, I really think it's just that this series hasn't really attempted to do something like this stylistically before, and it just maybe just kind of threw me off.
I mean, that's the cool thing about Further Evidence. All the episodes of Further Evidence have, for the most part, have been kind of really pushing the boundaries of what they did in season 1. So this is kind of the testing ground, which then gets applied in season 2.
Sure.
So it is. It's a whole new ball game. So maybe there is an adjustment period there. So
I think that's probably it. I think that's probably what I'm experiencing.
All right, so Harleen says 1 visit per year. Get him up. The hose him down, then get him presentable for the guy. 1 visit per year. So the guards come in to basically finish up beating the other loving crap out of the Joker, and he begins by telling the guard who got the security guard who got glass in his stomach, which is what happened to poor Sharpie, by the way, last time. Remember, he told him that joke. He's, oh, don't worry. And of course, Sharpie's not around anymore. Right, he's probably okay, but he probably did not end well for him. Anyway, so this is great. So Joker lays out kind of almost like a Kingpin-esque monologue from Daredevil. The whole the Samaritan path, the whole Samaritan speech from Daredevil to a degree, in which he's laying out a new joke. And what I really loved about this is he's basically doing the Killing Joke, but kind of with editing behind it to really kind of like deliver the punch of the scene and what's going on, and also putting all the pieces on the board for our prelude. It's a very comic book. I don't know. I really dug that. It's got like a visual, almost like kind of Tom King kind of thing to it. So essentially, the joke is 2 men walk into a hospital, and the editing. What I really like here is that we see all the lines of the Joker corresponding to what we're seeing here. So we have and really good juxtaposing each other. So 2 men walk into a hospital. You see Lex Luthor ascend from the heavens in a helicopter in broad daylight. And in the dark parking garage, which is practically the denizens and darkness of everything, you have Dr. Arkham as the poor man, rich man Lex, who we're not showing his face, by the way. Little flag, not showing his face yet. And Jeremiah Arkham, Joker is being brutalized during this montage. As he's getting the crap beat out of him. Let's see. So the rich man, poor man. The mob essentially is beating the Joker up, because essentially the rich man gets what he wants, and of course what the rich man wants and what the mob, being the rich man, wants is Joker beaten up. So that's what we're seeing right now. He's getting the crap beaten out of him. But no one listens to the poor man. Of course, no one listens to the poor man. We see the very sympathetic Harleen Kopski, in the elevator, having just an utter emotional breakdown, almost like a cop or an FBI agent visiting a serial killer, then just kind of letting it all come out in private. Just screaming. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that performance that she gives, just like utterly breaking down that elevator. So let's see. So then, the poor man gets turned away, but then he gets a gun. And of course, when Jeremiah Arkham's walking through the parking garage, out of the darkness, out of the shadows, this shot looks really good. Scarecrow and Lockup are walking behind him. They're the gun. Are walking behind him. Mm-hmm. Everyone does what he says, except for the rich man. Of course, faceless Lex. Except for the rich man, who still thinks he's better than everyone. We see Joker's, again, Lex thinks he's superior to the Joker. Joker's kind of laughing at this as he's being beaten up during the scene, because Joker laughs at pain and punishment, as we've established in The Dark Knight. Look as you go, that sort of thing. So he gets one right between the eyes, right as we do the elevator scene, implying that Jeremiah Arkham is Joker's ace in the hole here. Oh, he's the weapon here. And then we have kind of our guards here coming in with that isn't a very funny joke.
That's a good last line.
And then we have just that great moment with the joke, a real creepy moment too, where he's staring at the camera right before he's about to get
Uh-huh.
beaten up, and he says like, "Not all jokes are funny." Then of
Yeah.
course season 2, One Bad Day. That's what the surname of the season is. One Bad Day.
Oh, that's a cool surname. All
It
right, I'm
is.
into it.
There you go. That's our prelude. That's our build up for the exciting kind of basically kind of installment coming up.
Cool.
Kind of the
All right,
third phase of the
Dragon,
Joker
I really
blogs.
do think that at the end of the day, I kind of just like I feel like this episode's going to play better when I have the whole picture, and I am very confident in that. So, and like I said, I think the only thing I have to criticize with the performance is that I wish that there was a little bit more of a distinct quality to just the voice direction with Harley. Like I think it's fine what we're doing, and I absolutely think that the new actress is killing it when it comes to the body acting and the just the nonverbal stuff. She's killing it. I don't know. Like as far as like I and part of that probably has to do with the fact that I just don't know where we're going with it, and I don't know how far along she's gonna get, and like how her voice might change. But I don't know. That's like the one hang up I have with the performance. Other than that, I think it's a solid episode. I wouldn't probably put it up there still with like some of the all timers that we've had in this series, but it's definitely solid.
Okay, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, the standouts for further evidence always were it was therapy ends, but more so for me, always the doctor is in. That was always kind of the big go to for the Tommy Elliott one we covered last time.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, because I think they pushed things stylistically more and felt the most kind of cinematic. And again, this is very much getting us back into our story where I think the Tommy Elliott one was more standalone. So again, further evidence as a whole was very much kind of a great kind of journey to go on and kind of like little kind of exploration of the universe before diving back into the main story. But yeah, I mean, I really like this as the grand reintroduction of Harleen Quinzel, particularly for her showdown facing her demon. A very well kind of realized scene between her and the Joker in a really interesting way. So that's yeah, and the episode always kind of stuck out to me in that regard. So that's cool. And again, just kind of the tip of the iceberg for the places where I'll just say we're going very serialized when we get
Uh-huh.
into like the third phase of our journey here. Kind of we're in kind of like the end
Which
of
is
our trip.
interesting because, like I said, I think one thing with further evidence is that like it's obviously like it's building to something, but it wasn't. It felt a little disparate in
Lots of things. It's
some
like the
spots.
prelude of a comic. It's very much
Right.
like it's yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to kind of getting back into the thick of things. It's almost kind of like what we're all hoping for with Marvel Phase 5, right? It's like, okay, like we've set up a bunch of shit. Now let's pay off all that shit.
Yeah. And we'll see how
Okay.
well that goes.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, our time's up, and it's time to reseal the further evidence until our next session when we attempt to answer the question: is there a method to the madness? With the Joker Blogs case study.
Not all jokes are funny.